So this week we head out of Manchester to the Stoke-on-Trent area, I think it's precisely Kidsgrove, to look at the Harecastle Tunnel. But firstly, I'm going to meet some friends of mine that just happen to live on a narrow boat. You may know them.
A fox, my kingdom for a fox.
Somebody call?
A fox! Hello, welcome back to another video. I'm back with Foxes Afloat. In fact, today...
Arthur Fox.
Arthur Fox, calling from Foxes Afloat. Now, you wanted to get a bit edgy, didn't you?
Edgy? I'm just scared to do it on my own, that's all it is.
Come in here, nobody can see you back there. So what are we doing today? Where have you brought me?
Well, we took Silver Fox through the Harecastle Tunnel
Right.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there's an abandoned railway tunnel, Harecastle Railway Tunnel. It's a mile long and it's a bit dark and a bit damp and a bit scary. And I got about 20 feet in and then just chickened out.
And you weren't having it?
No, and I thought there's only one man that can help me.
So you called the special number.
And he weren't available, so I rang you.
Yes, so we're here. We're going to go and have a look at Harecastle Tunnel, which is... Are we Kidsgrove, Stoke-on-Trent here?
Yeah, I think it's the old North Staffordshire Railway, so...
It's actually the West Coast Main Line, isn't it?
It was, yeah.
What was the West Coast Main Line.
Yeah.
Anyway, without further ado, let's go a couple of miles down the road and take a look at this disused railway tunnel. So we're here. We're in the railway cutting. Absolutely beautiful, but it's throwing it down. And behind the camera is Harecastle Tunnel. Look at that. You can just see it down there. Absolutely amazing. And what a beautiful little setting. So let's head on down there and take a look at this tunnel. You're rather stylish with this umbrella. Although it has come in handy because it is throwing it down and my camera's getting rather wet. If you want style, call the Fox. Right, so we're here. The tunnel, as you can see, open entrance. There's a gate on it, but it's completely open. Lovely bit of stonework, as always on these things, always really dressed really nicely. It doesn't look, to me, it looks too narrow for double track, but I'm assured that it was a double track tunnel. 1848 it was built, or I presume it was started a couple of years before that, because it wouldn't have been an easy task. What I'll do is I'll go inside and we'll start walking through the tunnel, and then I'll tell you more about it. So we're inside and it's incredible. So this thing is 1,766 yards long, which means it's just short of a mile long. This is the south tunnel. What I'll do is I'm going to cut to a map in a moment and I'm going to show you the arrangement. So this is the longest south tunnel. There were 3 tunnels on this line. There was south, what was the middle one called? Middle, yeah. The south, middle and north tunnel. North tunnel was a very short tunnel. I'll show you what happened because basically this was part of the West Coast Main Line. And the reason they abandoned the tunnel was because they couldn't adapt this tunnel for electrification. Must admit, when I was outside, I did look at it and thought, really? 2 tracks in here? It does seem a little bit narrow, but maybe it's just the way I'm looking at it. So they wanted to electrify the West Coast Main Line. They approached this tunnel and it couldn't be adapted. So they had to consider a different route over to the west. I'll flick to the map and I'll show you what's going on.
So there you go, we're going to investigate Harecastle Railway Tunnel South. There are 3 railway tunnels along this route. This map is from Rail Map Online, a great resource. As you can see, I'm looking at the 2 main lines here. You've got a blue one to the right, a black one to the left. Let's first concentrate on the blue line to the right. That is the original 1848 line and it burrowed under Harecastle Hill. There was 3 tunnels along that route, the longest of which was the south tunnel, which we're going to go through. Now, in the 60s, when they decided to electrify this line, because this made up part of the West Coast Main Line, they couldn't adapt Harecastle Tunnel for electrification. I don't know the technical details, but it couldn't be adapted to take the whole overhead lines. So they had to divert the line to the west, which is the black line that you can see there. You'll see it kind of follows the lower ground, and that is the current working line. So 1966, the new black route, and I'll refer to it as the Black Line, opens and leaves the 1848 line, now disused. They had considered the black route 118 years earlier, but it was thought that some of the gradients were too steep and the locomotives couldn't handle it. So in true Victorian style, they accepted the challenge and they burrowed through, or they tunnelled through, Harecastle Hill. However, when they needed the new diversionary route to the west, railway technology had moved on, and it was thought that the locomotives and the trains could now handle those slightly steeper gradients, and they opted for the black route. Let me show you this other map, and it'll just put some more light on the situation. So this map shows the junctions involved in a little bit more detail. 3 arrows, you can see the red arrow is the South Tunnel, closed in 1966. That's the tunnel that we're going to walk through, or attempt to walk through. Purple arrow shows the Middle Tunnel, and the green arrow shows the North Tunnel, which is actually part of the original route that the new route joins. You see the black line, it joins it just after the Kidsgrove Tunnel. Now, I hope I've got that right. I do apologise if I've made any mistakes, but I kind of learn about these things as I make the video, so I'm quite open to any extra information you've got or any local knowledge you've got. But let's crack on with the explore.
It's quite a deep recess, this, you know, of all the ones I've seen. Think about the Miley Tunnel, what was in a couple of weeks ago, and it was only about 2 foot. This is a good, what would you say? 3 foot? I'm not sure, but you can properly get in here. And again, I've said this before, but some people wonder what these things are. I did watch a video once where they were wondering what these were, whether that was a bricked up passageway to somewhere else. It's just a recess, it's meant to be like that. So you imagine you've got your trains thundering through here, and the railway workmen that needed to take refuge would stand in there, stand out of the way of the passing train for safety. That's certainly a wet tunnel, isn't it?
It really is. I don't think it's helped with all this rain this year.
I know, it's actually raining in. So you're going to tell us something. It's a bit like Stanage tunnels, if you watch that video I did, because either side of this, have we got canal tunnels?
Yeah, that's right. The canal tunnels were built before this railway tunnel.
Yeah.
So where are we now? So we've come up from the south entrance, so heading that way.
Yeah.
On our right hand side, we've got the newer Telford tunnel, which is
Thomas
about,
Telford, yeah.
We're about 18 feet higher than the water level.
Okay.
On that right side, and then on the left side, about 18 foot down, you've got the original Brindley tunnel. Wow. And it was actually when they were building this and the trains going through this tunnel that caused, so it's said, some people say, it caused the subsidence and the collapses in the Brindley tunnel. The trains roaring through were vibrating the hill, and that's what caused the collapses.
I wonder why it affected the Brindley tunnel so much. 1777 the Brindley tunnel was. James Brindley, famous canal engineer. But I wonder why that was so susceptible and that wasn't, because both canal tunnels were in use while this was in use as a railway tunnel, weren't they?
That's right, yeah.
I think it was just built with hindsight, and
I think the technological advances back in the day, when Thomas Telford built that tunnel, was probably meant it was more secure, and it was less susceptible. But it's quite a unstable hill anyway.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is this hill above us?
This is Harecastle Hill.
Harecastle Hill, yeah. See, I'm not from this location, so if you're shouting at me, I'm not from round here, so I've got a lot to learn. But we've all got a lot to learn, and we can learn together about these things. But I do find it fascinating that you've got the 2 canal tunnels, and I so want to take a look at Brindley's disused tunnel. We'll see if we can do that later. Anyway, cracking on. Well, that's quite odd, isn't it? For a refuge, that is quite odd. That is really deep, isn't it? Wow.
Usually just like enough for one man,
Yeah, I've seen them as little as 2 foot.
In fact, you can see where this one's been extended in.
Yeah.
You can see that line in the brickwork where they've doubled it out.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Little gap there. I wonder where that goes. That's very interesting. Not quite sure what that is up there, but it's on both sides of the tunnel lining. Whether it's been some sort of like signalling or something like that, or an attempt at overhead catenary. Be interesting, wouldn't it? Back in the day. Who knows? We'll never know, I suppose. So the tunnel was abandoned in 1966, and as I say, the West Coast Main Line had to take a new route to the west of here. I probably showed you already on the map, but that's when the last trains came through here. So it would have probably seen predominantly steam. There was obviously diesel around in the 60s at that time, but it would have been mainly steam locomotives.
Oh,
Job's a good one.
oh wow, that is ace.
Oh, wow. So as you can see, a bit of scaffolding here, some work going on, and we're right underneath one of the ventilation shafts. This is incredible. Let's show you this. So that's one of the ventilation shafts. Great to look at it. Doesn't look that high, but obviously you won't want to fall down it. And that light above is obviously on the hillside above. I know I shouldn't, but it's too tempting not to, isn't it? Good, that nice view of the, well, you couldn't get right underneath the shaft, but you could get a bit nearer to it and a view on the roof of the tunnel. So I'm inside a refuge, as you can see, one of the railwaymen's refuges, but here on this is a grate, and through there is a tunnel, and we think that tunnel is for drainage and runs down to the Canal tunnel, which is obviously, as Colin says, 18 feet below us. Absolutely fascinating. So this is another one of those little refuges with a side tunnel in it. Now, the only time I've encountered this before was obviously, and I'll keep going on about it, Stanage, and I'm wondering, because of the proximity of the canal tunnels, this has been used to take spoil out onto the canal boats, although it is very small. We're thinking drainage, we're thinking spoil, probably for both, to be honest with you. We've lit it, so let's see if we can get the camera just to the edge there and take a look through on what's it like on the other side of there. It looks intriguing. Let's have a look. I really don't want to go through because it's filthy and it's muddy, and if I get this clothes dirty, my mum will kill me. But let's just see how far we can get the camera in here, because it is quite intriguing. Right, monkey. So I can always go warm in underpants, can't I? What I'm going to do is I'll try and get in to a point, and then I'll get Colin to pass me the camera and we'll have a look inside. Where should I? Ooh, ooh, ooh.
In it.
Ooh. Oh. Oh. Wow. Wow. Right. What chuck is that?
Yeah. You ready?
Oh, shit.
You're right.
Yeah. It's just been easy.
Right.
Right. It's kind of, yeah. As you can see, it's kind of long. There's a long sort of passageway, if you like. Let's get that other one in there, other light. Now you're seeing as best as I can get there really now. And it does sort of open up, but it goes onwards down there. Yeah. Sorry for the shaky job. Now is the camera focusing? I'm not sure. But you get the idea. Now you could crawl through there, and I would want to crawl through there. You can see the layers of rock as well, incredible.
It's certainly, by the looks of all that, too dangerous to crawl through. But if you come right down and right in, it opens up just back there. And it's
So every so often there's drainage in this railway tunnel, and there's some sort of grates on the floor, and there's a grate over there to the side, and it's like a channel that goes down through to, on that side, Brindley's Canal, which is the older canal, 1777. There's a little T in the brick, or what looks like a T in the brick, to mark the drain, I think. But there's one down here. See the grate down here? You see that? Now I'll light it for you in a moment, and there's one over here. I'll just get the light. And I shall light what's down there, and you can have a look and see where it goes.
comes down, you can see it comes down, it then goes out, show you left hand side, and that will come out into the old Brindley tunnel. Easier out.
You just done the same thing.
So we did. Look at your hole there.
So there must be, the water is absolutely pouring in here, and there's all sorts of deposits on the wall. You can see a lot of iron deposits here.
There's a lot of iron ore in the hill, and it seeps through down here, which you can see that browny golden colour.
Yeah.
It actually turns the canal water the same colour.
Yeah, I saw that actually. And all the stones, all the ballast there is all stained brown with the iron. But absolutely, must be throwing it down outside because it was when we came in, but it's absolutely persisting through here. So I found the source of some of the water. There's a shaft up ahead there. See that? Now it's always risky going underneath these shafts because it's like standing outside in the rain with your best camera. But we'll go and stand underneath it, take a look up and see how deep it is. Or how high it is. You see the grate up there? You can't quite see the grate, but you get the idea. So, these iron deposits here on the floor, incredible. Now there's nothing to suggest where it's come from if you look at the ceiling. So are you saying it's getting really deep, the mud?
Well, there's a clue.
Oh dear.
There's an even better clue.
I'll go and have a look because I'm really going to be really annoyed if you have to turn back here now. Let's go and take a look. Giant steps of what you take walking on the moon. Send a fox in first. Is it deep?
Yeah, it goes over your shoes there. I'm just thinking.
The shoes will take it, but it's just how far. It's how far it goes on for, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's that like? It's like a curry there. Like a good curry.
Can't get any further.
Is that it?
Yeah. See that one?
Yeah.
And then the edges just...
You should have brought me wellies. Would have walked straight through the middle of that. Shit, shite, confetti. So it does go on for a while, does it?
Yeah.
Because you know people are going to laugh at us, don't you? Shit. Well, beaten. That is bad. You can see on the floor behind Colin there, that orange iron-laden mud that stinks, absolutely stinks. It stinks more mouldy, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does smell like iron.
What does iron smell like? It stinks and the tunnel's flooded onwards. However, the end is down there. We're not far off the end, so we're going to turn back here. I know you'll hate me. You're throwing things at the screen right now, but it's just
really deep, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming over our boots and wrecking everything. It's just that orange stained iron. It's really horrible. If I had wellies, I'd be through there. Never mind, it was an interesting tunnel. We've seen the adits and we've seen the shafts. It was a great one, but beaten by the mud. Sorry. Harecastle Tunnel, you bastard. It beat me. I don't often swear, but we just couldn't carry on because honestly, look at it. It's on me, it's on covered in it. And although you don't think much, but when you see my boots, I might just bin these boots. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got almost brand new ones on.
I've been tangoed.
Yeah, honestly. My fashion gilet, my Explorer's fashion gilet is almost completely ruined with multiple pockets for various explorations and devices that you may need along the way. Look. Anyway, it's got covered in iron ore. Well, anyway, I'm going on now, but if you come here, and I don't recommend it, you need some wellies because it's just completely flooded at the other end with that horrible orange iron stain.
It's just like orange, muddy quicksand, isn't it? It's horrible.
Yeah. We were not far off the end. Please don't shout at me, but it was very interesting. And there's a little bit of a bonus because we didn't get to the end. We're going to take a look at the entrances to the two canal tunnels, which I really want to see while I'm down here. So, do you know where they are?
Literally 5 minutes walk that way.
Right, okay then, onwards and upwards. Sideways and backwards. Right, so here we go. I told you I'd bring you to the canal tunnels. So you've got Telford's tunnel over there, which we'll take a look at. And you've got Brindley's tunnel there. 1777, 242 years old. Apparently it was the trains that caused a lot of damage because the railway tracks near here caused a lot of damage to Brindley's tunnel and it got closed. It was used at one time for boats going, you know, omnidirectional. So let's go and take a look first of all at Brindley's tunnel. You can see it's all sort of filled in now and overgrown. Let's go and have a look. You see it's completely stained by what we've just seen in the tunnel. Let's check the weight.
Yeah, you can see. These doors, it's an airtight seal.
And this is the 1827 Thomas Telford tunnel. So there you go, there's a last look at the disused tunnel, James Brindley's tunnel. It took 11 years to build that tunnel. It's over 2,000 yards long. James Brindley, the canal engineer, died during its construction. I'm going to flick now to a picture. This picture is taken at the other end, at the northern end of the portals. So Brindley's tunnel is now to the right, Telford's tunnel's to the left. This is pre-1914, and you can see this is when the two canal tunnels were omnidirectional. I think that boat that's going through is going southbound through Brindley's tunnel. Pre-1914 because in 1914 there was a partial collapse in the Brindley tunnel which eventually closed it. What a great picture that is. And you can see the horse there just going up over the track, over the top of the tunnel. That's going along Boat Horse Road, and it'll walk over the top of the hill and it will re-meet the boat at the other end, at the southern portal of the tunnel.
So I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry we didn't get through the tunnel, but I did show you the canal tunnels as a bit of a bonus. That was great. I hope we can do I hope we can do more stuff like that. It was good, that. So we're going to get back onto narrowboat Silver Fox now, have a quick brew, and then I'm heading off back home to Manchester. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Great stuff.
Again.
Yes, brilliant. So thanks for watching, take care, and I shall see you very soon in the next video. Bye for now. Right, I hope Sean's got the kettle on.